Hi everyone, good to see you again. It's been a long time. It is Ultra Healthy here. So why am I making a video right now? You might be asking. Well, the reason is that in my free time I've been hard at work on my next game project for these past couple years. And there was a big event happened for me at least. I've released the demo to this game on Steam just a few days ago. So I thought that this was a great opportunity to just maybe play through the demo together, show you guys what's going on with my latest game project. I can kind of show you the mechanics and what the little trick is to the game. So just kind of to break it down quickly, the game's called Conjunctivitalizer. Totally silly title. The Japanese name is Kamiwazami. It is a vertical 2D shooter. As you can imagine, it is not just a game where you just hold down the shoot button and move left to right and just move out of the way of bullets. Just as Violet Wisteria was not just a platformer where you just hop around and slash the sword. There's a trick to it. So we're going to get into that. Why don't we just go ahead and watch the tutorial together first? I think that's going to explain it pretty quickly. The tutorial is not playable. Basically, it's just like a digital instruction booklet. You just watch it, but I think it will help. Okay, so obviously you have a shot. You have a straight shot and a wide shot. That's actually the only weapon in the game. You can, change back and forth with the L and R buttons whenever you want. Right, so in this game you also have a sword. Yes, that's been inspired by some of the shooters that I really enjoy, things like Radiant Silvergun, Raturgy, Karos. But it's a little bit different from usual. This sword generally is not used to attack enemies. It's used to interact with bullets. So bullets come in different colors in this game. Don't worry, it's not as complicated as Violet Wisteria, I assure you. So step one, use the sword to reflect blue bullets, and they will break apart like you can see there, and those bullets that you reflect back will damage and defeat enemies. There are also yellow bullets. You use the sword on the yellow bullets and you will absorb it and charge it into your meter that you use for a bomb. It's basically a laser, but it might as well be a bomb. You get 5 of them and then you can use it. Alright, so then there are finally red bullets. Can't do anything to those. The sword has no effect on them. You just have to dodge them like a regular shooter. Of course, they are all bullets, so if you run into a blue bullet, you're going to take damage also. You have to use the sword to get it to reflect. So yeah, after you've absorbed 5 of the yellow bullets, you'll have that little effect in front of your character. And then if you press the, I have no idea what that button is now on the Super Nintendo, maybe it was the A button, then you can use the laser and you'll kind of spin around when you use the laser and it does a ton of damage to enemies and you're invincible while you're using it. Alright, so here's the real trick. There are no power-up items in this game. There's no weapon items in this game. You really just have one type of weapon. In order to power up the weapon, you need to increase your score. Now, of course, shooting down enemies gets you points. But when you use the sword and then reflect those bullets back at enemies, they leave behind point items. Or if you, absorb enough yellow bullets to get the laser and then defeat enemies with that, it also leaves behind point items that are worth even more. Those are going to increase your score drastically faster. You're going to, get way more points. And that is going to power up your weapon much faster. So you don't have to. You have the option of just shooting enemies with the shot. But if you really want to get into it and get into scoring and then, actually also have an advantage, not simply to say I got a high score, but have an advantage in the game, you work on learning how to use the sword, and then you're gonna, cause those point items to appear and, increase your score much faster and power up your weapon much faster. That's the main mechanic of the game. When you have a full charge, you can also recover life. You have 5 hearts before you die in this game, because, you know, it's supposed to be a console shooter. It's not an arcade shooter. It's not a one-hit death game. You do have 5 points of life. If you want to recover one, you can actually trade in a charge to recover life as well. You will lose a very small amount of your score in very rare cases that can also cause you to power down. So just be cautious of that. Now, the sword can be used to damage enemies. Yes, it does, you know, cause some damage. Not very much. You can kill minor enemies, not too difficult. The mid-size enemies like the one you see there, it's really not worth trying to hit them with the sword. So just wanted to throw that in. Yes, there's a sword. Most people think, oh, you know, I'm going to run at enemies and smash them with the sword. It's not really how this game works. Okay, and that is all. So why don't we just get straight to it? The music, as I think I've mentioned possibly in previous videos, I can't remember, is done by Yamanaka Toshiya. He's one of my favorite musicians ever. Yamanaka Toshiya is the person who wrote the music to things like Bangai-O on the Nintendo 64, Sin and Punishment. Before that, he worked with a company called Arsis, so they made some games like Star Cruiser, Night Arms. His music is incredible. He hasn't written a soundtrack for a video game in a very long time. I managed to get in contact with him and he's been doing the music. So I've got the sound kind of turned way down right now because I also had to talk over the video. But the music is a really, you know, big component to the game. So if you decide to go and play the demo, you can check it out. There's also sound test in the options. I got the difficulty selection on the title screen this time. Why don't we actually just play normal mode? So first, I'm gonna play just for a minute or two and not use the sword. I'm just gonna approach it as a regular shooter. Why don't we just play on easy mode instead then? So you can see kind of how long it takes to power up the weapon if you're not really aggressively using the sword. And we're not gonna play the whole thing. Stage 1 is maybe 6 or 7 minutes. Cool intro, huh? Alright, it's Conjunctivitalizer. Some really cool enemy designs. Okay, so like I said, you know, you can just shoot down enemies. If you want, you can use the sword. As I said, you're reflecting blue bullets, absorbing yellow bullets. We're gonna kind of mostly just use the weapon here. Right, not difficult at all in the beginning. The guy who's been doing the sprites for this game has been absolutely kicking ass. I personally love the artwork that he's done. So as you can see, you know, we're staying alive. We're having no problem. But, you know, the score is not increasing very quickly. You can see down on the right side of the user interface where the next level, how many points you need to level up. So maybe I'll just get one level and then we'll stop there. See if okay, so we've got a charge here, right? So let's see what happens when you use the bomb, or the laser. Right, so as you can see, you get a ton more points. I mean, my score increased by like 50% in one shot. So that's just kind of playing as usual. Let me just kill myself off and die. I made a mistake here. I did not put any way to reset the game on the pause menu. That was foolish. Okay, we will not continue. Okay, no, I need to add in. Oh god, that's probably not gonna work. Sorry, can you guys see this still? I forgot to add in a save feature, so the resolution changed briefly. Okay, so this time we're going to play it, you know, using the sword aggressively and really trying to go for the score and trying to power up. We'll just start on easy mode because I've set the default to easy mode. Take your finger off the button for a minute, the point items will fly towards you. You'll absorb them. That was badly timed. So yeah, there we go. As you can see, I mean, it's been like 30 seconds and we already powered up. Very, very different approach to the game if you're really trying to use the sword and really going for a high score. Oh no, I missed it. Okay. Still can't play a video game and talk at the same time very well. I gotta hand it to those streamers. They are good at what they do. It's not very well done. Though we're not doing that great, and we've still leveled up twice already. I mean, technically we are on easy mode. So these buildings do have collision on them. You'll just get stuck. Try to run into them. Again, trying to use the sword whenever possible. I still don't have a charge. Oh well. What's this? Okay, mini boss. Guess I should have mentioned at the beginning that yes, technically, since we're playing through the entire stage, it does contain spoilers, you might say. People who want to, see it and get surprised on their first play probably should not watch this. So yeah, I mean, you can see, the boss health is going down really fast. It's because, we're on easy mode. The thresholds to gain levels basically change for each difficulty setting. So what happens is basically my weapon's just a lot more powerful than usual. And just makes it, easier to kill enemies and bosses. Yes, we have flying bowls of rice. Let's see if we can get some points here. There we go. When you power up, your shot powers up, but your other weapons also become stronger. So like the reflected bullets become stronger, the laser becomes stronger, even your sword does do more damage. See if I can't save this charge for a moment when there's a lot of enemies on the screen. Go. How about that? Boom. Again, we could just shoot those guys down, but, trying to get a bunch of enemies together when you've got the charge. Nice little strategy here. People who are watching this video are going to have a huge advantage. They go and try to play the game. They're seeing all the best scoring strategies. Whoa. Okay, here we have the first boss. We got a little dialogue in the beginning if you want. It's kind of a parody, of the game industry. You can skip it if you want, but anyways. Okay. Man, this boss music is awesome. Yeah, you know, usually if we're playing on normal difficulty, wouldn't be able to get powered up quite this high. So it's like, you know, as you can see, we're draining that boss health really quickly. Oops. Got to use those blue bullets. Got to reflect those blue bullets. Otherwise, it just takes forever. Alright, second phase. Yeah, and you know, defeating the bosses with reflected bullets or, you know, the laser also gets you the point items. So that's why I'm kind of trying to time this right. Okay. There we go. Alright, so that is the Conjunctivitalizer demo. Stage 1, it's all there. So as I showed you, you know, it's got kind of a unique trick. I don't think it's nearly as complicated as Violet Wisteria. Yes, there is, you know, a trick to it. It's not just, you know, hold down the shoot button and, you know, drop a bomb if you're in danger. There's more to it than that if you want, but I think to some extent I've made it this time such that, you know, you can choose, you know, how far you want to go into it like that. I think the thing with Violet Wisteria was it just demanded so much precision all the time. You know, personally I'm happy with it, but this time around I wanted to do something different and allow people to kind of, you know, choose their own approach. So that's it. It's on Steam. You can play it if you'd like. If you do, please go ahead and give it a try. If you have a moment, I'd really like to hear your ideas, your thoughts, and your feedback. You know, the game's not complete. I can still make tweaks and additions and improvements. So if you want to leave a comment here, you can leave reviews on demos now on Steam. The demo does have its own page. So you can leave a review there and mention something if you'd like. You can also put it in the community hub on the main Steam page for Conjunctivitalizer. But thank you very much for coming and joining me. I know I don't really make videos here anymore. I would like to, again, if possible, sort of, kind of. I need a new camera, though. So, yeah, it's been good to see you guys all again. Thanks for checking that out. Please check out Conjunctivitalizer if you do have a moment. And, you know, I'll post more updates as the game progresses. So, everyone, have a good night. Hope you're doing well. Take care.